Montana. It's my first time at The View.
Came all the way from Israel to see The View.
It's Tuesday, October 6th, coming up live on The View. Lisa Ling is back as our special guest co-host and weighing in on hot topics. From Letterman's on-air apology to his wife and staff.
I got my work cut out for me.
To John Gosling calling Kate a liar. And we're going behind the scenes of Sherry's star-studded premiere party. Plus, Steve Martin's telling you about his new movie with Meryl Streep and Alec Baldwin. And if he'll ever do stand-up again. Then he's hitting the stage to perform a down-home hit. And the Food Network's Einstein of Eats, Alton is showing the co-hosts the science of making culinary feasts by using tools you won't find in the kitchen drawer. Then, David Alan Grier's revealing which black celebs he says need to behave now that Obama's in the White House, and why he went off on the judges on last season's Dancing with the Stars. All that, hot topics, and more coming up on a brand new season of The View.
And welcome to The View. The fabulous Lisa Ling is back as our special guest. And I am back from one of the most extraordinary memorial services I've ever been to. My friend Patrick Swayze, as you know, passed away.
Yes.
And this thing was a true celebration of his life. His foolishness, his silliness, his fun, his love. I mean, the great things that we were able to see about Patrick that, you know, maybe you forgot because you don't see somebody all the time, but it was endearing. The thing that no one did not speak about was the relationship between Lisa and Patrick.
His wife.
And that was
Lisa's
a love
wife.
affair.
And it was... Not Lisa Ling. No.
She's got her own
Lisa
love affair
Swayze.
going.
But it was, you know, every now and then, you know, you see it in the movies. You see these kind of relationships where they meet in their youth and you think, and they grow together and and you think, yeah, okay, right. But they actually had it.
They got married young.
They got married young and they danced together, and they showed a couple of clips of them performing together and just all the clips from the movies. And a lot of folks I hadn't seen in a long time were there, and it was extraordinary. It was extraordinary. And so
maybe that's what Tom DeLay's driving at, trying to dance his way into a good life or something.
I don't know. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can dance your way into a good life, but this man's life was celebrated. And so I'm saying to all of you, because I know a lot of you out there have been fans and you've been sending great notes and letters and things, I just want to say, don't mourn this man. Don't mourn this passing, because this passing is not meant for tears. It's meant for laughter and celebration, because that's who he was. Right. And so that's where it was.
As you say this, it's interesting because he and Lisa had been together so long. Yeah. I mean, really, you can count the number of celebrities who have stayed in long relationships or lengthy marriages on probably one hand.
Well, there probably is about
an anomaly.
Well, I know people.
Alan
Alden and his wife, Carl Reiner and his wife. That generation, I think.
Newman, and also Eli Wallach and Anne.
Right,
I mean, that relationship has been going on since 2 weeks after Moses was born. That's a long relationship.
I'm sure they've had bumpy times, all these couples, but they've worked it through.
But what is it? What is it? Why do you think that generation has a higher propensity to stay together than the younger generation?
Well, when I was divorced, which was in the 80s, or 1981 or maybe or something, I think a lot of people were getting divorced between 75 and 85. There were a lot of divorces. And that this generation was older, and so I think that they had a different way of looking at it.
And say, I can't take this?
There was a whole different period. There was a courting period. You didn't get everything done, you know, instantaneously. Let's go on a date. Okay, so what's your name again?
No. I had that. I went on plenty of dates.
But I'm talking about your mom. I'm talking about your mom and my mom and where the families came and the men. You know, you couldn't just. You know, you see in the movies they honk outside and say, "You are not going out there until he comes to the door." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There are certain mores that don't exist now. You don't court for 2 or 3 or 4 years. You don't have that whole thing.
Now you date, you meet, like you will date 2 weeks, and you hook up, you get married, and you get a reality show.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I'm not opposed to divorce necessarily. If 2 people have irreconcilable differences and they're just unhappy, then go your way. It just seems like people are so quickly inclined to get a divorce before trying to work things out.
Let's hope this is not the case coming up.
Well, I would like to say on that point that I gave it a very good shot. And, in fact, my ex-husband emailed me a congratulations on my new show, which I thought was very sweet. And thank you, Joe.
How did you feel about that when you got it?
I thought it was great. You know, I mean, we're friendly. You know, once you have a child with someone, you're never really separated. You always will be connected to that person, whether you want
kids.
to.
Yeah, if you have kids, there is no way around it. You've got to know that the other person constantly is there. Yep. I remember that. Now, last night on David Letterman, he said his wife was horribly hurt by his behavior, and it was his responsibility to fix it, and apologized also to his staff for being, you know, hassled by the paparazzi, because the paparazzi are really giving his staff a hard time, because he's gone public about his sex scandal, which he made clear was in the past, okay, was in the past. Now, if the paparazzi was going to chase everybody who had had sex in the past, I'd be running like Flo Joe. I would be Flo Joe. I would totally be Flo Joe. But now, is he doing the right thing talking about this on there? It's not like I think it was his choice. I kind of think somebody said we're going to...
Why not pay the $2 million and just shut up?
Right? No, it would never have been over if he had paid this money.
How do you know? Come on, stuff like that happens all the time. People get paid off.
$400 maybe. $400.
Girl, did you just buy the San Francisco Bridge, Lisa? I just have to say the thing that I love that David did was he apologized to his wife. Even though they weren't married at the time, they were dating at the time, and the fact that he made
for 20-something years.
20-something years, and before that he was Meryl Marco for a great deal of time. But that he acknowledged that he had done something wrong by
publicly.
her.
But why not apologize to her privately, pay the guy off?
Do you think he didn't say, damn, why isn't my key working? Baby, I'm sorry.
Well, he did it. He does.
I'm sure he did privately.
With a great deal of humor, which is, you know, he apologized to her with humor, which is good because she'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Yeah. But in addition to that, it was a very interesting exercise in how comedians handle these situations. I refer you back to Hugh Grant. Do you remember that when he was getting the old whammaroo in the back seat?
You know?
And he made a joke about it, and then his career was fine, and Jay Leno's numbers went up. I think it's going to happen to Letterman.
Well, I'd love to sort of pick this up when we come back, because we're going to go look, we'll be right back. Excuse me, I just wanted to finish up the David Letterman conversation because I felt like I cut you off.
No, you did not.
Oh, good.
Nope.
Well, here's my question. The person who decides to blackmail someone and say, I'm going to drag not just you, because you're the one with the dough. I'm not going to just drag you through the mud. I'm going to drag your wife, your kids, your family. Who wakes up and says, yeah, I think I'm going to ruin somebody's life today?
According to what we've read, he needed a lot of money. He was in debt.
Well, why couldn't he go on the corner like every other desperate person?
What's weird about it is, this is supposedly, from one point, he's a producer. He's a very smart guy. He produces 48 Hours, I believe, and et cetera. What made him think that he could cash a check for $2 million? That's the part that's confusing. And the lawyer will use that, I think, in the case. Because it looks almost like he was kidding.
But I think he was so much in that place. He made $200,000, which, you know, after taxes, 48%. He's in that 48% tax bracket. I know. I'm saying that you could see the place of desperation that he was in. He's paying $7,000 a month for child support. I mean, when you're in such a place of desperation, absolutely, you're just not even thinking.
Ruining somebody's
not even thinking.
Family is not.
It's unexcusable.
Because you're in desperate straits. Ruining my family is wrong.
You know, don't you think he was also angry? He was angry because this girl was living with him. She was telling him...
He should have said something to her.
She was telling him that she was in a platonic relationship with Letterman. So he believed her, and then he found her diaries, and he realized it was more than that. So he's mad.
But who made it public, though?
Scorned man.
The thing is, who made it public, though, in a way?
Scorn is what happens. And this is
who made it public? Because he could have figured out a way to settle,
David
right?
should have maybe settled for $500 raisins.
No, you don't know. Because that means that every time somebody threatens you with something, you got to come up with some money. Which is why Sherry, I'm just saying.
No, I didn't let all my stuff out there.
I don't know.
You know it.
I didn't know about this. This was new to me. Picking up strange man. Off the street.
Oh, I have got to tell you guys, this is, you know, every day I get these kind of like, people send me these scriptures going, you know, say something nice to people, smile at somebody. So I'm with my girlfriend, was standing over on the street at 59th and Broadway, and there was this very tall white guy walking. He was very good looking. And so I said, I'm going to say something nice to him. So he walks past me and I went, you got a nice body. And that's it. He stops, he turns around, he says, are you talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you. He's like, are you trying to hit on me? No. And he goes, well, will you? And I went, okay. And so we're talking. He's a really handsome man, and he gives me his phone number. And he said, I said, are you a struggling actor? No, I live around here. And I'm telling my girlfriend as he leaves to go to the post office, and he says, you're going to call me, right? And I went, okay. So I said to my girlfriend, this is great. You see what happens when you put yourself out there? Something wonderful could happen. So it comes back from the post office, and he says, you're going to call me? Yes, I am. And he said, you know, I'm just really trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my wife that I talked to you. I'm in the Twilight Zone, and I said, your wife? And he said, yeah, she loves you. And then he's talking to me, and I'm just, my mouth's hanging open, and my girlfriend's going, he's got a ring. And I went, I know. And, but then he says, I ended up, he walks off, and he says, now, you're going to call me. And I said, but you're married. And he says, but I'm honest. And then he goes, but I am married to a black woman, so you know I love beautiful black women. And then he walked off and went, call me. That's what he said. I don't know what I did.
So you know that Bill Getty is married. Why did you come on to him in the first place?
Let me ask you a question. Now, knowing that he likes black women, does that make you... Do you like when a non-black man says he likes black women?
Okay, let's take away the fact that he's married. Yes, because I know it. For me, if he has already dealt with black women before, then that's like what he already knows. Look, I'm telling you, this is just me, because there's things that I do that might shock a man. Like a black man, if I pull off my hair, you already know what's going on. Your mama does it, your sister does it. But a white man, I go to, you know, he sees the Pocahontas hair, and then we come home, and I just pull this thing off. Whoa! Hey!
So it's exciting for him?
Not that it's exciting. It's just
experience.
He has the experiences. He has the experiences when he comes to the house and, you know, we're partying and he knows already. So it's like one less thing I'm dealing with. For me.
See,
so if he thinks
I have two things to say to you. Number one, when you turn around and tell a man he has a nice body, you can't be surprised that he stops. Okay, that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. And it sounded maybe like, are you hitting on me? Yes, maybe it's possible. So you were looking for trouble. Number two, yeah, you were looking for trouble.
I was just really trying to be nice.
You were looking for trouble because you could have said, you know what, have a great day. That's nice, too.
No, I didn't say that, because sometimes when you're walking, sometimes you like to hear, you got a beautiful smile. You got a, I'm more mad at him. But but the thing about it is
he had a good body.
He said thank you and kept going, knowing he had a ring on his finger. When he said to his wife, I'm going to the post office.
Put this on him. You hit on that man.
Go to the post office and bring us behind.
Snow White, you hit on that man. Now listen, white men, black men, for the most part, there are enough men in the world who have seen both black and Asian and white women go through all their machinations. And basically, the most intelligent question you can ask the man is, can you handle what you're seeing? Because I'm about to. Ooh.
Well, Lisa, how do you feel about white guys going after Chinese girls?
If I find out that a dude has a thing for Asian women, it's a complete... I can't go there.
There's a stereotype about dating an Asian.
It's a fetish.
There's a whole
oh my
thing.
God, what about sex? Asian women are hot.
Yeah, but
see,
if you
but
don't
that's
see-
another
And
stereotype.
black women are hot also. And you know who's hotter than all of us? Snow White. Because
But
this
Whoopi, you say
girl...
that because you're both. I don't know if y'all know this, but Whoopi, you're part Chinese, aren't
I'm
you?
Chinese and me. Because
So
I
she's like
believe that
Asian
love
women
is
and
love.
black women.
Listen, a man is a man. People always say to me, you like white men. I like men.
Well,
just like Snow White. She likes
types.
7 of them. She likes 7 of them. 7 little men. And if you want to talk with your children about how Snow White handled her life, you can do it because it's been released from the Disney vault. That's how deep it was. And in a limited time Disney Blu-ray combo. Not that it's a blue movie, but it's a Blu-ray disc. And a DVD is on the other side of it. It's 2 movies in 1 package, which makes Disney Blu-ray combo packs the perfect way. Am I doing a commercial?
This is why you have to read the prompter ahead of time.
So look, you know what I'm getting ready to say to y'all, because you want this, don't you? Do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want it? Okay, everybody's taking it home. We will be right back with Steve Martin.
Brilliant actor and comedian are only a few of the many hats Steve Martin wears. And his new CD, The Crow, proves that his famous banjo isn't just a comic. Welcome back, Steve Martin. So before we talk about your new album, which I heard you guys playing backstage, and it's really terrific.
I just have to say to Sherry that when you said I had a nice body the other day, I just got over nervous.
You loved it. You know, you were on Letterman last night.
Yes, I was.
So tell us about what was going on backstage.
Well, the staff really didn't know what was going to happen. And, you know, I had a couple of ideas that we were going to have. Marty Short did a guest shot on the show, and we wanted him out there. And he and I had an idea where I would say, you know, David, I had relations with someone I worked with once. And, in fact, that person is here tonight. Come on out. And then Marty would come out. You know, and then he would sit next to me and be contrite, and he was going to hug me. And I was going to say, see, that's why it didn't work. You're too needy. Anyway, I thought it was really funny, but the staff was very nervous because they didn't know. They said, I don't know. So we didn't do that. But, and then Dave went out and did 30 jokes right off the top. And I thought we could have done that. He seemed to have no problem with it. Yeah,
but they're nervous. They want to be this protective of him.
Rightfully so. Because
Was his demeanor different?
Pardon
Or
me?
was his demeanor different? Dave's?
No. No. I mean, I didn't see him backstage.
Right.
I mean, I only saw him out. You saw what I saw. So.
What do you think about the fact that he made so many, so many jokes about the situation and the way, he's a comic?
Well, what I think was so brilliant, because I think he's handling it superbly.
Yes.
And I thought that, well, thank you. Oh, not me. I'm handling it badly.
Slept with all those women, I'm just saying.
You know, the monologue is the monologue, but when he sat down at the desk and really addressed people in a very sincere way, I found it very moving. And, you know, I think there's a subtle thing. Everybody's saying he apologized to his wife, but that's not what I heard.
Okay.
He acknowledged that he hurt his wife. His apology is at home.
Right.
You know, you can't go home and say, hey, honey, did you see my apology on TV? You know, it's just so great now. Everything's fine. Because it's not a public thing to apologize to his wife on TV.
Right. Okay, let's talk about your new album. Oh. It's called The Crow, New Songs for the 5-String Banjo. And it's your first bluegrass CD, right?
Is that me?
Yes.
What?
Pardon me?
What's the matter?
Is that me?
No, that's not you.
You know, when we designed the album, you know, I looked at it and I said, somebody said, you know, you better put a tail on that bird.
Or they're going to think it's Whoopi.
No.
But it took you
I'll tell you.
45 years to make this.
Well, I'll tell you.
Why
Like,
take
we
so long?
were, yes, I've been playing the banjo for 45 years, and I played it on stage when I was
Right.
doing comedy, and I've been playing it all along. I'd written all these songs. I wrote all the songs on the record.
Yeah.
And we were recently, it was a big thrill, nominated for the International Bluegrass Music Association for 6 awards. There was a Banjo Player of the Year, there was Instrumental of the Year, there's Recorded Event of the Year, and so I was very excited. They asked me to perform in Nashville. I flew the whole band in. We stayed at the finest hotels, and I won Best Liner Notes.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But actually, I was very engaged by writing the liner notes. I thought that was the one thing I maybe deserved.
Somebody told me you had Paul Simon take a listen.
Well, you know, Paul Simon is actually quite funny.
Yes.
And do you know him?
Yeah.
He has a really funny sense of humor. So I said, Paul, you know, I've got this record. It wasn't out yet. I said, just take a listen to it and give me your thoughts. And like a couple hours go by, and he wrote back on an email. He said, I'm sorry, Steve. I really didn't like it. Sorry. But he was kidding. He was kidding. And then I wrote him back, and I said, yeah, well, I listened to your songbook, and those songs don't hold up. He was kidding.
They're kidding. They have fun with each other.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you haven't done? You're really very much the actualized man, I think, with your artwork and your banjo and your comedy and your acting, and you write articles in the New Yorker and books.
You're performing at Carnegie Hall tonight.
I'm performing at Carnegie Hall tonight.
I mean, is there anything you haven't tried you want to still do?
You know, people say that, gee, you do so much. But I think a lot of people do a lot of things. I mean, I have friends like, you know, Nora Ephron, a playwright, a writer, a director. You know, all these lists go on.
But I'm saying, is there something you still want to do that you haven't tried?
Well, I just like to keep going, you know, keep writing. There's no, I don't want to climb Everest or something like that. Yeah.
No, physical risks, yuck.
Is there a favorite thing that you do? Because is there a favorite thing that you do?
Yeah, but can you talk about it on TV? Sorry.
Favorite thing? I don't know. You know, the favorite things I think I do are social, actually. Is to have dinner with friends, have a dinner party.
He's normal. He's a regular
He's a normal guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know one of the things that we would love for you to do is come back. And Steve Martin is coming back later because he's going to perform for us. His CD, The Crow, is in stores now, and you're all taking home a copy. We're going to be right back.
They float intact downstream into the dark recesses of the colon, where voracious bacteria gleefully feast upon their plenty. Now, as these bacteria dine, they give off gas, and plenty of it. So, instead of beating your dog or blaming grandma, next time your beans make music, blame the bacteria.
Is a culinary scientist who's celebrating 10 years of knowing food inside and out with an anniversary special on the Food Network and a new book, Good Eats, The Early Years. Please welcome Alton Brown. Okay, Alton. All right, now this cookbook, which is heavy.
3.8 pounds.
3.8 pounds. Wow, you know.
It's important.
It is so important, but this is more like a Good Eats encyclopedia.
It is.
Now, in this book, you had interviewed yourself.
I have interviewed myself.
What did you learn about yourself?
Well, I wanted to be interviewed by someone who knew what they were doing, so I interviewed myself, and it's right there. And I didn't really learn much of anything I didn't already know.
Well, I'll tell you, the book weighs more than you.
The book does not weigh more than me.
I didn't even recognize you when you came out because you've lost a lot of weight. How did you
50
do
pounds
this?
since March.
50
Yeah.
pounds.
How did you do it? Look at that.
How did I do it? Scientific applications of nutritional principles that I think I might write a book about.
What is that in, like, just real woman language, scientific
I
principle?
ate a lot of sardines instead of cake.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah, whenever you want cake, eat sardines. The pounds melt right off.
Oh, my gosh.
It's pretty simple.
Well, so where did the idea for Good Eats come from?
The idea for Good Eats came out of the fact that I was an amateur cook. I used to direct TV commercials, and I would watch food shows, and I thought they were all pretty boring. So I thought, I want to make a show that would be like Julia Child meets Mr. Wizard meets Monty Python.
I love it.
All
right,
at
so
once.
you got this huge cult following, and
It's a small cult following.
No, it's a big cult
Because
following.
it's a big cult, it's a church.
All right, you got this huge church that's following you, and we are about to find out why. We're going to find out why. So
I'm going to make one of my
us.
favorite dishes from this book. I need this cutting area. Someone once bet me that I love eggplant parmesan, and they bet me that I couldn't make it in 60 seconds. And so I tried to come up with a version of eggplant parmesan that I could make in 60 seconds.
All right.
And the key, the problem with I'm going to take a little longer maybe because I want to explain things. Is that people are gasping? That's not possible. Is that eggplant can be really bitter.
Yes.
And so what I do is I salt the bejeebers out of it. about 15 minutes before I'm ready to cook. That's the salting phase, because we got to move fast here. It's live TV. And then you end up, it pulls out all of the nasty bitter stuff, and you end up with something that looks kind of like this, right?
All right.
And that is kind of, I did that, and I thought, well, now that's all kind of floppy, right? It's kind of like a lasagna noodle, right? Well, if it's like a lasagna noodle, why can't I just cut it into noodles?
Nice.
Okay? So
no carbs.
Well, a zero-carb noodle, right? So I figure, okay, well, I've got these things. I've taken all the bitterness out of them. And they look kind of like noodles made out of maybe squid parts, because it is kind of ugly. And dry that up. So I was like, okay, well, what are the things that I really... And look at all the moisture that comes out. So you squeeze that. I figure, so what are all the things that you've got to have in eggplant parmesan? Well, you've got to have eggplant. You've got to have parmesan, which I have here. So I've got a pan... And I figure, okay, well, 60 seconds, I ought to be able to do this in 60 seconds. If I got a tablespoon of oil down, right, and it's relatively hot, and then I throw in some garlic and some red chili flakes, right, which are all pretty good. And I say, okay. Well,
But the chili
that's kind of
flakes,
spooky.
wow.
It's like
Somebody's
a church.
telling you to do that. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, we're going to pass around some baskets, and I want you to put all your money in. So then let's put some of the eggplant in there.
Okay.
And let it start sizzling. And the more heat you've got, the better, really. So I'm going to turn that up a little bit. And you toss that around for maybe 20 seconds. And this is kind of one of those dishes that you do at the very last minute at home. I mean, the draining part of the eggplant, you can do that a day ahead even if you wanted to. Toss that around a little bit, and then you bring some tomatoes to the party. Ordinarily, at Food Network, we would call that a BAM moment, but...
And Alton, I know you like to use the same like utensils and things. You don't like to use them only once.
No, everything has to be a multitasker, because I don't have room in my life for a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
I tend to use the same thing over and over again, the same tools over and over again.
So that goes in. Purpose.
Basil goes in. Breadcrumb goes in.
It smells
A
wonderful.
little bit of cream goes in. And a little bit of cheese goes in.
Wow.
And you're done. And I don't think that was much more than a minute.
Okay, now, on your new diet, is this something you would eat?
I want to try a bite because I'm into this. Eggplant.
Would I eat those?
Uh-huh.
Sure, because the thing about dieting is that you can't always live on water and sardines.
Wow.
So
that's really
it's just a little bit of cream. It's not a whole lot of cream.
Kind of eggplant.
It tastes like pasta.
It tastes like pasta.
Yeah,
that's
not
the thing.
quite.
But it's not pasta.
Right.
It's mostly fiber and roughage, and we all know that you've got to have roughage if you're going to be happy. At least in this world. So that's it. Thank you very much.
I would eat those.
Yes, you would eat that. Absolutely, you would eat that.
I would totally eat those. Good.
Off of a really big fork.
Off of a really big fork. This is, I like this.
Alton, you're kind of like what Steve was talking about. You have a drama degree.
I have
you
a theater
directed
degree,
REM.
which is absolutely useless, by the way. Drama degrees only get you close contact with actresses, which is what I wanted in college.
And then something even more random. You directed REM videos, and then you went to culinary school.
I did.
What's next for you?
What's next? I don't know. I like
you
not
gotta do
knowing.
Dancing with the Stars.
Oh,
I got answered. I got offered Dancing with the Stars.
You should do Dancing with the Stars.
I was offered Dancing with the Stars and didn't do it.
Oh, you gotta do it. Look, thank you so much, Alton. I like
do a
this.
commercial break.
Good Eats 10th anniversary premieres Saturday, October 10th at 10 p.m. on the
Live show.
Food
It's gonna be
Network.
good.
And everybody's going home with a copy of Alton's book. I like this.
Comedian David Alan Grier has written a new memoir about how life has changed for Black America now that President Obama is in the White House. Please welcome author of Barack Like Me, David Alan Grier.
Kiss again.
Now listen.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I gotta apologize. I'm wearing a yellow sweater, sitting on a yellow couch, so
It's not good.
I know I look like a yield sign, but let us continue, ladies. Let us continue.
Well, David, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
One of the things you say in the book is that being mixed race is now cool.
Yes.
Everyone wants to be mixed.
Yes.
Is that true?
I think there's a fascination, you know.
Tell me why.
First of all, most black people I know are mixed. You know, my great-grandmother was half white, but for a while we were half Indian.
Right.
You know, you always change your story up, you know. It's for me, really, what's fascinating and trying to find the humor in is the cultural mix of America. You know, we live in a society, I think, if it looks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. So if you look like a, quote, black person, talk like a black person, you must be black. But it's more complicated than that.
Right.
Usually, most of us are mixed with different
like
cultures.
President Obama.
Absolutely.
Is a perfect example
My
of
daughter.
that.
My daughter's of mixed race.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And for me, I talk about in the book, you know, there's that moment when, during the primaries, the pundits, you know, all of a sudden they started, let's do these numbers again. You know, Barack Obama could actually win this nomination. And I just burst into tears. I'm like, you know, weeping, looking at my daughter, because I realized her world will be totally different than mine, you know, and in that moment. And it was amazing. It was incredible.
Well, your world is different from your grandparents and your parents, too, no?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I grew up listening. Yeah,
This one was.
This was a big
This
jump.
is the grand mamma jamma of change.
Yeah.
It is. It felt it felt like a marathon.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it was a 50-yard sprint and it was over, you know? So it was like that.
There was a lot of controversy over this term, the magic Negro.
Yes.
And then there was a black author who wrote about it, and then Rush Limbaugh picked it up. And you talk about it in your book. You talk about the magic Negro.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Can you explain?
Well,
to
I
people?
wanted to clarify. I mean, because the magic Negro is a powerless person. He's a stereotypic character that we've seen in movies.
Right.
He's a mysterious, all-knowing black person that comes out of the ether, usually no family, and advises the white character how to better their life and then disappears.
Right.
You know, much like a spirit, you know, and we've all seen Bagger Vance or The Green Mile, you know, I just want to heal you, boss. You know, and he goes, Jasper, how do you know all this about physics? I can't tell you, boss. I can just give you the answer. And then he's gone. It's like, thanks, Jasper. You know, that's the magic Negro. And I say, exactly. Barack Obama is not the magic Negro because he has all the power. He is president.
Well, he also never disappears. He's on TV constantly.
Exactly.
David, I know you attended President Obama's inauguration. Did you get, like, the celebrity treatment, the whole nine?
Thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. No, I did not. That was a hard day, you know. I saw Jamie Foxx on TV. MC Hammer had better tickets. Well, let me put it like this.
MC Hammer.
I was promised the Platinum VIP package. Yes. This is where it started, before I bought the plane tickets and the limo and the hotel room. What I got were the purple tickets. Yeah, I was behind a tree that was blocking the Jumbotron. I never saw the inauguration, but
tree.
I heard it. I heard it. But here's what happened. Yes. But here's what happened. Even in this jaundiced eye, there was this African-American woman next to me, and she said, I've lost my family. Will you be my family? Oh. And I'm like, okay. So she's hugging me. She's crying in my arms. And it's just one of those moments. You just have to give in, and it became this incredible thing as we listened to Barack Obama's
Now, let me ask you, I'm told you would like to be in the cabinet, in Barack's cabinet. Would you tell us the position?
Secretary of Mirth, Whoopi. I mean, I think that's obvious. Secretary of Mirth.
The humor.
Absolutely.
Yes,
the humor czar.
They could use that.
Yes.
That's right. We need a new czar.
Thank you. Joke of the week. Joke of the week.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Ow. Why'd the monkey fall out of the tree? He was dead.
See?
Boom.
Everyone in our audience is getting a copy of Barack Like Me. Read it. Laugh. David. Thank you, David. We'll be right back.
Here to perform a new song, Jubilation Day. Please welcome back Steve Martin, joined by the Steep Canyon Rangers.
I'm walking away. Like dear Abby told me. I'm walking away. My shrink gave his okay. I'm walking away. The self-help book implored me. I'm walking away. Jubilation Day. my best friends all had warned me.
I'm walking away.
Even your mom said you were nuts.
In my dreams,
You wear a red cape and a pitchfork.
I'm walking away. Jubilation Day. I'm walking away.
Let me get my things.
I'm walking away.
Where'd you hide my banjo string?
I'm walking away.
I'll be over you by lunchtime.
I'm walking away. Jubilation Day. I'm walking away. I'm walking away.
Well, we had a great relationship at first.
I'm walking away.
Can I get my diary back?
I'm walking away.
Oh, and you know what? We should always stay in touch. I want to give you my new cell phone number. Be sure and write this down. It's 555-0111. I'll be waiting for your call.
I'm walking away.
Bye.
Hi, guys. Hi. Woo, yeah, so. The Steep Canyon Ranger CD, Deep in the Shade, is now in stores. And so we're going to give all of you a copy of this. We want to thank Lisa Ling for co-hosting with us. Everybody take a little time to enjoy the view, and we're walking away.